What's up, Taurus? You guys got. Oh, first off, this is from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck. And this particular, what we're going to do is we're going to read the card description first and then go into the actual reading itself. And this is by Adriana Ayala's. And this particular reading, you got Lion's Mane and with the subtext of leadership. The description reads, sacred masculine, leadership, ambition, provider, strong-willed, spiritual power. Lion's mane has been used as a food and medicine for well over 2,000 years in the high mountain regions of Asia. Its nickname includes bearded tooth or pom-pom mushrooms. In traditional Chinese medicine, it is referred to as Ho To Yu, or monkey head mushroom. In Japan, it's called Yamabushitake. During China's dynastic period, Buddhist monks were said to use lion's mane as a nutritive food in tea to enhance focus and brain power during meditation. In traditional Chinese medicine, lion's mane was used to combat qi, or life force deficiency. Lion's mane was used to combat qi, or life force deficiency, nurture the liver, spleen, lung, heart, kidneys, nourish the gut, and even fight cancer. Modern scientific research has proven that lion's mane is a nutrient-dense fungus with many healing properties, such as stimulating the growth of neurons in the brain and helping with neurological conditions. Lion's mane has the ability to assist with nerve growth factor, which enables the brain to heal itself, thereby assisting with cognition, memory retention, and mental performance. The way in which this nutritive fungus is capable of expanding the perception and mental skills is attributed to the powers of Mercury, also known as the messenger of the gods. Mercury is a great communicator, representing brilliance, intelligence, the free flow of energy. Lion's mane is also governed by the sun. It has a great provider of vitality, longevity, resilience, and adaptability. The guidance portion is the lion is a symbol of power, animus, the primordial essence within the sacred masculine that expresses itself as relentless determination, ambition, focus, and will. When we meet lion's mane, we immediately feel a regal and generous presence. And when out of balance, the vanity and overconsumption block the flow of love coming in to inspire ambition. Power isn't powerful when you put Power isn't powerful when you put others or yourself down. You are a wielder of raw power and may be destructive if consequences are overlooked. Lead your life from a place of compassion, from a place of compassionate leadership, and the rest will follow. First off, I am so sorry. I promise I can read. I can't. I just need to get used to kind of how the book is set up here on the desk. But there's a few messages. Jeez, a lot. Okay, one. If you look at where your Mercury is and go back and look at those particular signs, if that really that could be something that you need to hear as well. The idea of there's a few things, I suppose, when it comes down to Taurus. One, I suppose the first thing that really came to mind was the idea that you being a provider of nutrition, being able to provide the world with a certain nutrition, and being and doing that in such a natural way, right? Because I think a lot of us have that, capability. I would say that idea of, the potential to provide real nutrients to the world. But Taurus, for those that don't know, it rolls over like gardening, the natural world, food, things like that. And when I say provide nutrition, I mean like the organic, the organic stuff, right? Like like the world is so tired of like GMO, right? The GMO things, but that organic, what's really there, that genuine, that's something that is essentially going to help nurture, and really can help nurture other people in general, right? Other things in general. This idea of you being a natural provider of that idea of what is it that is naturally bubbling up within you, right? That organic, what is the organic nature of you yourself, your unique being. Having that sprout out in the world, you'd be surprised, right? Because we talk about a lot of people at some point, we're talking about kind of the healing power of nature, right? Being exposed to nature. And it's well documented, I think. This is something that you really need to permeate in your surroundings, right? You need to be that, right? When people experience you, that idea of experiencing a forest, creating that energetic environment that is unique to you, right? Not to say, even though a lot of y'all may have plants everywhere, but not to say that like the idea of just plant life in general, but I'm talking about you, your spirit, which kind of leads me to this next thing. We're gonna talk a little bit of astrology here, not too much, right? But the idea of Taurus is ruled by Venus, right? So Venus is the rulership, or is the ruler of Taurus, and Venus has exaltation in Pisces, and which is gives that lends to a sense of spirituality that a lot of people just simply don't understand, and can't, or don't understand looking at Taurus at the surface level if you just understand that. But there needs to be a real understanding that you have a very real connection in what we'll call the world of the unseen. That idea of what you can do and what you can provide, you need to understand that you're a vessel for something, and that something coming out is going to lend to a very real nurturing and a very real healing that needs to take place. Very, very much needed, I would say, today, but also just or just needed in general. But in terms of today, the idea of the concept of a renaissance in general, yeah, it's something that could branch out and echo further into generations than you could even really imagine, right? Because I like to kind of say the idea of today, we're going to study the people and the pioneers that come out today the same way that we look at the Renaissance of the past, I'll say. But honestly, I think it'll dwarf both Renaissances that I'm thinking about, right? The Harlem Renaissance, but also the Italian Renaissance, right? That idea of what happens when it comes out now. You need to understand that whatever you put into the environment is going to be very much used and digested and purposed to heal and essentially give future generations something to really pick off and essentially support them in their growth. Um, Another thing is this idea that peacefully, like this idea of peace, and the concept here is that destruction, like you want to watch out for more destructive habits. And just to give you an understanding, the idea of Taurus, it's where Mars is frustrated, right? And like people hear that and they think like, oh my goodness, like maybe like I'm not as strong of a fighter or something like that, which is so far like that. You need to understand something. There's a an understanding with um, Mars in general, right? It's when you're frustrated, when you have Mars in a frustrated position, like we'll talk about like the idea of Mars and Taurus. There's an understanding that this idea is Mars may not reach its full potential or whatever, but that concept of Mars and Taurus is really, the frustration is destructive. The concept of being in Taurus is a destructive understand. Like there's a destruction that could more easily come about than it being at home. And that idea of refining that is, it can be extremely hard to really grapple with at times, because the idea is you want refinement in your particular exhibit of Mars, right? You need that. You need to be refined in terms of like the raw power without refinement may lead to very much destructive force. So be very careful and watch very closely with that when it does, when you see things that do kind of get you amped up, and understand that there is that refinement process is going to be harder, I'll say, for sure. But that idea of like what it is when it is refined, you'd be surprised. It was, I think, Muhammad Ali, I want to say, that had Mars in the 10th house or something like that. But in any case, just please watch out for that, and also look further into Mercury sign for other messages. Have a good week.